Hi guys, welcome back to the Main Character Code podcast. I am your host, Stuart Daly. Today's episode, we are diving into the director who's taken the industry by storm, Ryan Coogler. So Ryan is a man who probably needs no introduction, but we're going to go into his life path, the year he was born, the Chinese astrology of that, the formation of his production company, for those of you who are looking for some alpha information on when to start your production companies and why each energy is powerful, especially being the film industry and how it corresponds. And we'll go into some of his films, the years, I guess you could say the release date they were launched, and some of their performances as well. So Ryan Coogler is one of those directors who's impressed me recently with some of his films like Sinners, which I think people give mad props for being super original. But my opinion piece on that is it's a great film, but it's got original tenets. But I wouldn't say it's up there with the Nolans and people like that who do IMAX films just yet. So I'm a fan. So let's look at Ryan Coogler. He's born, I think it is May 23rd, 1986. I have to look at that. May 23rd, 1986. So let's look at 1986 first. That is the year of the fire tiger. Now, remember we talked about on the first podcast, on the first episode, we talked about the motion of the horse that happened in the tiger year. So that's the first, for those of you who don't know, the motion of the horse, or the horse in motion, whichever way you want to say it, was the first moving images by Edward Muybridge back in the year of the tiger, which I forget, I think it was 1887, something along those lines. Forgive me for forgetting the exact year. So yeah, we can always see there, Ryan Coogler is a tiger. The motion of the horse really got underway. The origins of film, if you will, got underway in the year of the tiger as well. So you can see there are a lot of synchronicities with some of the best directors, in my opinion, being tigers and horses. We talked about tigers, I believe Leo DiCaprio, we talked about Tom Cruise, we talked about some of the biggest movie stars of all time were born in a tiger year. So we are now in a fire horse year. So we have Ryan Coogler as a fire tiger, fire and fire. So there's kind of that double energy that magnifies. And of course, the tiger's best friend, one of them, is the horse. And also, the horse is very close with the dog. So we have Steven Spielberg, which we'll talk about with his film coming out in the summer, Disclosure Day. So back to Ryan Coogler. Yeah, he's got the 23 energy, being born on the 23rd day. So 2 and 3 is 5. So you have a lot of 5 kind of stands for the entertainer code. And 23 we talked about with Timothy Chalamet. There's some synchronicities here with the I am code with Michael Jordan we talked about with his jersey. So to look at 23 as well, it's a very powerful number, one that's used for, I believe we talked about the star of Leo, and Leo coming into its full alignment on the 23rd of July. So there's so many synchronicities with the numbers and dates and the astrology. So keeping it simple so we don't get too in the weeds as a numerology geek. He was born, you can also look at epoch.com, I think it's called. You can see what day he was born within the year, so how many days into the year and how many days remaining. He was born with 222 days remaining, which again is a master builder number, the 22, or the 222 is magnified. This year, let's talk about this year, because he absolutely smashed it when it came to Oscar nominations for Sinners. So Sinners, let's look at that. That was a film that really just exploded as one of those like Southern vampire tales. He's obviously, again, a tiger in a horse year. The Oscars happened just into, I believe it was the end of February, start of March. So we've already just moved into that horse year, which was February 17th of this year for the year of the fire horse. That's when it really changed in Chinese astrology, or the Chinese New Year. And yeah, so we had, first of all, Sinners absolutely smashing it with its release date. We have, it launched last year, so April 18th, 2025, same day, I believe, as Ryan Coogler's business partner, who's also his wife, Zizi, I think her name is. So the exact same day, which has a 22 life path energy, right? If you add 4 plus 1 plus 8 plus 2 plus 2 plus 5, you get a 22 life path. And it was nominated, get this, for 16 Oscars, which I believe was a record of all records for the Oscars. which is crazy, which is absolutely crazy. And then it went on to win 4 Oscars in the Year of the Fire Horse. Happened, a couple of months ago. So Sinners was poised for a very powerful launch date. If we look at the launch date again as well, you got the 18 number in there as well, and launched in spring, or the start of spring being April, which is always a very powerful time for getting that explosion of energy as well, with the natural harmonics of blossoms and trees and all that stuff as well. We could go on and on. So Ryan Coogler as well. So we talked about, his personal year. He's in an 11 personal year. Again, the 22 and the 11 go really, really well. They're both master builders. 22 just happens to be more of a master destroyer number as well. And get this, Ryan Coogler signed a 5-year deal with Disney on 11/11/2022. And in that same year, which was the Year of the Tiger, 2022's Year of the Tiger, he signs a deal with Disney and then goes on to do Black Panther Wakanda, which makes a ludicrous amount of money, 858 million in box office, I believe. So as a recap, this guy probably doesn't know he's doing it, but he's got a very powerful Chinese astrological sign for film, being Year of the Fire Tiger, and he's making these big deals with the biggest companies like Disney, love him or hate him, love them or hate him, I should say, not him. So he's signing deals with the biggest players in the industry on a master builder date in the Year of the Fire Tiger. So for those of you who are directors or filmmakers like myself or producers, look at some of the themes, even if you don't fully believe this woo-woo, look at some of the synchronicities, some of the stuff that's just happened. It's set in stone, it's been announced at certain dates, and you can see the success that leads from it. Of course, a lot of hard work and genius on Ryan's part to pull off these deals and to pull off these films. It's insanely hard. If we look at, we'll go into his astrology as well. So tropical astrology, I believe he's a Gemini, and Taurus and Sidereal. Geminis, again, it's a very good communicator sign, and Geminis are going to be thriving because we have Uranus in Gemini right now, which a lot of astrologers are talking about, and they probably know more about than myself in that. Again, those types of astrologies I'm still learning about. I'm much deeper into numerology and Chinese astrology. But Gemini people, you've got the capital G, which is the 33rd letter as well, with the capitals. So there's a lot of power in that for influence, 33 being about influence, and then the master Masonic degrees up to, I guess, the top degree, which is 33 degrees, which is all about knowledge, influence, power. It's very, one of the top master builder numbers. And we could talk about that for hours in other episodes. So Ryan Coogler as well, we could go into some of his gematria and stuff, but I feel that might be one for another day because we've covered a lot. Let's talk about Proximity Media, his production company, which was launched again in 2018, Year of the Earth Dog. So dog and tiger and horse are the best buddies of that trinity, or that trifecta, if you will, or triquetra. So he launched again, with maybe without knowing, a production company with his wife and some of his closest collaborators in 2018 in Year of the Earth Dog, which again is a beautiful base for working with the tiger energy. You've got the dog that's, there's those idioms you guys should check out saying, I'm a hungry dog, or like, I'll give a dog a bone. Like this is a company that when it gets launched in that year, again, it mirrors the basis of when film started in Year of the Tiger. And they're both just incredible signs, especially the dog, for a lot of loyalty between them as well. And it's kind of instilled in his company. The composer that's one, I think he's one of their owners, who wins Ludwig, I think his name is, he wins all the awards. I forget his full name. And they do pretty much every film together. And he even does films with Christopher Nolan. So you can see a lot of loyalty, especially with his team. And that's really what a director needs. They need to work with people in this ruthless industry that have got their back, that they trust, and they also have maybe complementing skills and values as well. So Proximity Media launched in a great year. It was hard to find the date for it. I might try and dig deeper and find the exact date Proximity Media was launched. And they made a lot of moves in 2021 and beyond that as well. So again, if you're looking for value from this, thinking of when to launch a business, I've just done it with my entertainment company, which is in many sectors: music, film, Broadway, even gaming, which is one that I'm more careful about because it's newer for me. And I won't be talking about that a huge amount, but I just launched it, of course, in the year of the fire horse, and I am year of the metal horse. So it is something, and it kind of aligned with that with my business partners, where they were looking for this huge new chapter with this with this entertainment company. So it kind of just came into existence. I would have launched another business as well, for other ventures and stuff like that. But you want to launch a business in your sign or in your friendly sign, like Ryan did with proximity. Him being a tiger, launching in an Earth Dog year, very, very valuable. And of course, you know, for me, doing it in a horse year is a direct match. And I have quite a lot of, if we go into the Bazi chart in Chinese astrology, which we can do other episodes on, there's a lot of complementing energy there as well, with a lot of fire in my Bazi chart. Even though I'm a metal horse, there's a lot of fire to complement being in the fire year. And we can go into the distribution of elements maybe in future episodes. So I believe I have metal, wood, fire, and earth. So you have an even distribution, and some of them feed each other, some of them fight each other with elements as well. So we'll go into that in the future, but don't want to go too deep down the rabbit hole just yet. So again, hopefully you enjoyed that, and there's some alpha information, always trying to bring that value. Maybe some of you, this was a bunch of synchronicities that people could say you're trying to find. For me, it changed my life doing this, these decodes with numerology, Chinese astrology, because there's so much going on in the world. We need every tool to break down people that you're about to go into business with, or doing a film with, or potentially romantic partner. There's all these things that you can utilize, because people are very good at having facades and very complex egos, and this kind of pierces right the way through. And of course, for me predominantly, I'd be lying and saying I love using it for business, because we talked about this in previous episodes. There's just so many films, so much music, so much art out there. You've got to, at least for myself, find this X factor, this secret weapon for riding the rivers of energy as well, that really bring up your own consciousness and energy, and they're reciprocated, if you will, in that sense. So yeah, that's basically it. Again, we can go deeper into sinners maybe in a future episode for the launch date, what day of year, and all that stuff. But winning 4 Oscars and 16 nominations, and to be honest, it was kind of a sleeper. Came out the woodwork and just exploded. It was the talk of the town. Everyone was talking about films, and to me, that's the best way to market it, is to make a good film. As Chris Nolan's wife would say, just make a good film. It's the best for marketing, and then people will talk about it. The rest will happen. Maybe we can do an episode on, speaking of films that have done very well through, of course, above the line marketing and stuff, as well as the trailers, but talk of the, you know, just people talking to each other, even people who don't go to the cinemas that much, you know, like my brother. And I been bringing him to see Project Hail Mary, so we can talk about that. And Ryan Gosling, who has an incredible code as well, one we can dive into. But hopefully you enjoyed that. Ryan Coogler is definitely a director to watch. He has an incredible main character code energy. And then you can see that maybe subconsciously he's doing this, but he's making these big decisions, announcing big films, making big deals in his industry, and launching films in very harmonious years and with numbers as well that match him. So the one thing we didn't talk about is him being in an 11 personal year. The way you do that is you add 5 plus 2 plus 3 plus, you know, this year, which is 2026, and you'll get 11. So again, master builder, you get a lot of attention, a lot of people, you pull at people's emotions in that sense as well. It's a very powerful master number as well. So very good for building a whole franchise, or building a new image. For him is like a big IMAX director. So there's that master builder energy, like a Chris Nolan. And yeah, we can't believe we haven't talked about it. He's a 34 life path, which adds up to 7, 3 plus 4. So again, Jim Cameron's a 7 life path. You look at these guys who are almost part-time inventors, especially Jim Cameron. But Ryan did this with the Halo harness, which had like all those cameras set up So Michael B. Jordan could play a twin, and they did very inventive things with that as well. So you can see that 7 energy is very, very much about an inventor, the eye for detail, the gears, the mechanics of cameras, and the aspect ratios, which you see Ryan Coogler was talking about as well, which apparently helped market the film when he would talk about the difference between IMAX and other ratios and beyond that up to 4K. So yeah, that's enough said. That's Ryan Coogler decoded, and he is definitely a main character. Seems like a nice guy, so we'll see where he goes with his next announcements for his next few films, and hopefully that helped you in looking at that. Again, try not to get, for me as well, speaking for myself, when I do these decodes, I don't cling on to other people's code, and I just try and see like interesting synchronicities and how it can bring value to me with my own code, with my own strategy for my films. So thank you guys, and hopefully enjoy the next episode that I'll bring out soon.